Welcome, and thank you guys for joining me on mile 7 of 1,000 miles of the entrepreneur. Now, hopefully you've been keeping up with me the previous miles, been running along right there with us. Journey of 1,000 miles begins with one single step. Today, I am going to tell you about something that changed my life. And it honestly did. When I got back from Europe, I wanted to invest in myself. So I went to a brand and image consultant, which I don't know if you've noticed the color scheme that I usually wear, but it's usually has dark, deep earth tones with sometimes navy blue and like dark green and stuff like that. I found out those colors work best for me and they resonate most with people based off my skin and my eye color and everything like that. It really helped. Another thing that I did though was I took the JOCRIF, the Johnson O'Connor aptitude test. All right. Basically, it's a really expensive test. It's around $700. But basically, they've done a lot of research to find out what a person's aptitudes are and tests that can help them find out what their aptitudes are. Aptitudes being something that is that's something that you have a genetic disposition to be good at, naturally, genetically. And they also found that people who do jobs that allow them to access their aptitudes, to use their aptitudes, are generally happier in general, and they tend to excel more. It doesn't mean that, let's just say you have a terrible auditory aptitude that you can't be a musician. It just means that it's going to take you a lot harder than a person who has an incredible ability in that aptitude. So, when I went in to take the JOCRIF, the Johnson O'Connor aptitude test, I was a little skeptical of the test they gave you. They gave you some weird test, but like I said, it changed my life. The first thing to do when you get done is they give you an inventory aptitudes and knowledge, basically a sheet telling you what your aptitudes are. Now, if I were to look at mine, for instance, I found out that I have what's called high ideaphoria. I actually was in the top 90th percentile of people my age in ideaphoria, which is basically the rapid flow of ideas. Doesn't mean the ideas are good, it just means I have a lot of them. Now, just because I'm high in ideaphoria doesn't mean it's a good or a bad thing. If you're low in ideaphoria, it just means you're better off towards these type of jobs. If you have high ideaphoria, you're better off towards these type of jobs. Basically, jobs where you need a constant influx of ideas, which makes a lot of sense. That's why every time I've had a job, I got bored with it very quickly, because I'm the type of person that I need to give ideas, and if my ideas aren't being used, I can get depressed because I'm not allowing my creativity to be in the room. Another thing that I was relatively good at was number series and number facility. Basically, I'm good with numbers. Not necessarily I'm a mathematician, but I'm good at memorizing numbers. I'm good at finding the correlation between numbers in a sequence. I was terrible at structural visualization, which is basically to be able to map out something in your brain. So being an architect, being an engineer, these are things that I would be terrible at. Being a doctor, something I'd be terrible about, which I was actually going to go back to school for physical therapy. Turns out I wouldn't have been that great. I could have studied my ass off and obviously passed it. Human mind, you can do whatever you want. But wouldn't have necessarily liked it. It would have been difficult for me. My tonal and pitch discrimination was terrible, which is why my mom always tells me that thank God that I'm kind of good looking, because I can't sing worth shit. But my rhythm memory was exceptionally high, in the 90th percentile. And my observation and number memory was really good. All right, so basically what that means is I have high ideaphoria, low structural visualization. I'm great with numbers, being able to correlate numbers together, and I have great rhythm memory, which doesn't necessarily mean I should pick up drums or something, but that has a lot to do with the ability to dance or the ability to speak. People who are good speakers have good rhythm memory because they're able to keep a natural cadence in their voice that makes it appealing to a person listening to them. So then what they give you a spotlight based off your big three. My big three, the main two are subjective personality and high ideaphoria, which means I need to be the expert at something. Look at that. The first one, if I was high in numerical aptitudes with a high ideaphoria and subjective personality, become a financial advisor or financial planning expert, teach marketing, economics, business, or statistics, be a financial consultant. I mean, wow. I mean, that's exactly what I'm doing now. It's exactly what I want to. It's something that I naturally was always going towards in my life, just never really pursued it. And it's amazing that they were able to tell me, well, that's what you should be doing. Another cool thing is they give you this book saying Understanding Your Aptitudes. And so if I go to high ideaphoria right here, it says, if you have high ideaphoria, do you have low or high structural visualization? Well, I have low. Then you have an objective personality, inductive reasoning. I'm right there in the middle. Look what's right there in the middle. Acting, writing, teaching or consulting, non-technical entrepreneurship. When I was 19, when I was 18, I went to school. My major was going to be communications, and I stopped that to pursue an acting career. For the longest time, I thought I made a terrible decision, that I should have picked something more practical. Now, one of my mentors, Tom Singer, said that you really don't know who you are until you're 35. I agree with that in some sense. But based off this test that I took, I do have one thing to say that kind of counters that. I do believe that you do have time to find yourself. But when it comes to what you want to do in life, when it comes to what you think you are meant to do, you already know what it is. How that puts a warm feeling in my soul. I hope it does too. You already know what it is. When I was 18, I randomly picked communications. I said I didn't know what to do, so I'm just gonna pick communications. I picked something that I was interested in. I picked something I was naturally inclined to do. I was the guy that was always giving speeches in school. The guy that was walking up to the principal saying, "Hey, during this thing, or during this award ceremony, can I give a speech?" There's never been a speaker, a student speaker. Well, I want to be one, right? That's what I always wanted to do. So I picked communications. I quit that in order to go and pursue an acting career. Acting was the number one thing there. I'm not saying I want to be an actor and like that, 'cause I have other aptitudes, but what I'm trying to say is you know what you want to do. You know what you want to do. Problem is there's barriers. Society's telling you to do one thing. Your parents are telling you to do one thing. Your friends are succeeding in maybe stuff that they're good at. I have one guy named Garrett. He's a lawyer. And he probably makes a damn good lawyer. And he probably makes a lot of money being a lawyer. And he needs to go to college for that in order to be a lawyer. But I wouldn't be a good lawyer. My aptitudes aren't geared towards that. I could try my best and I could probably be a decent lawyer, but it wouldn't fulfill me as a whole. So this entire time I thought I was finding myself saying, what do I want to do with my life? Turns out I already knew what I wanted to do with my life. I wanted to act. I wanted to start my own businesses, to be my own boss so I can use my high idea for it to create new things. And I meant to be able to learn how to financially invest because all those rolled into one. So I'm sitting here telling you guys, you know what you want to do. Don't let other people tell you that. Don't let other people tell you that you should be doing something. Don't let society peer pressure into doing something that you don't want to do. And if you're ever confused and you want to take the Johnson O'Connor test, click the link below. I will put the link there. Take the test. I paid them $700. I could have paid them $3,000 to $5,000 and would have been okay with it and still thought it was too little because it put me directly back on my path and gave me that emotional confidence that what I've been doing is what I should have been doing. That's all I got for you guys today. I'll catch you next time on Mile 8. See you later.